Hi guys, here's a quick recap of the hip mobility session that we did today, concentrating mainly on the back of that hip. So to begin with, we had our little friend Bendy here. What is a hip? A hip is where your pelvis joins into your femur, your thigh bone. So we've got this little hole here, and then we have where the thigh bone goes in. So you can move a hip many ways. One of them is to move your thigh bone, or the other one is to move your pelvis over the top of the thigh bone. Both in essence are articulating this joint here, so that's what we worked on today. Now, let's have a recap. So first thing we did was a controlled articular rotation, which is a fancy name for saying a big circle of a joint with a bit of muscular contraction in there as well. Many useful things from doing this, but we work mainly on the joint capsule, plus everything that attacks over the top of the hip. We've got you lying on your side, back straight, bottom leg up to 90. You can support head on a cushion. Then we reached forwards with the other hand to lock the rib cage. We wanted the pelvis to stay lovely and still for this. Brought the heel to the bottom, and then we lifted the thigh in front, back nice and straight. We opened it up like a dog weeing up a lamppost without the pelvis dropping back. We rotated the hip, keeping the knee where it was, and the heel goes up to the ceiling. And then we brought it all the way round into extension before bringing it back through again. Now, we did that the other way as well. So we reached back, came up, rotated, and come through. So, reach back, open up parallel without the pelvis moving. Knee stays up, heel drops down. Then we came all the way through, closed the gate before doing it again. 3 or 4 each direction on both sides. Then from there, we went into this 90-90 position with various alterations. If we can, we want a lovely straight 90 on the front, knee pointing forwards, knee at 90, hip at 90. Same with the back leg. If we needed to take a bit of slack off the back, we can bring the knee forwards a little bit. If we wanted to bring some slack off the front, we can bring the heel back, or we could just lean out a little bit as well. So those are our options. From there, we found the stretch, navel travelled forwards. We pulled the hip bone and the buttock backwards to traction it. And then we got that torch between our butt cheeks and we shone it up the back wall towards the ceiling, which gave us a lovely stretch with the back nice and straight. We then played around with hand positions. We walked them to the left, we walked them to the right, had a few breaths in each place, came back into the stretch, then we did the contraction. So we imagined the scales with the dial. We pushed the whole of that front shin down into the floor without anything else moving, which contracted the muscles in the side of that hip. And then we did the opposite. We tried to lift that front leg up, make it go light, and allowed that torch to shine up the ceiling again on the back, which took us deeper into the stretch. And we did that 2 or 3 times from there. Then we made it move. So from there we went light on our fingertips. We started to push that leg down into the floor again, which lifted us up. And then we made the front leg go light as we brought ourselves back into the stretch again. Again, the back staying straight. What's moving here is that pelvis, like we showed at the start, over the top of the thigh. Then we did exactly the same on the other side. From there, moving up the last little bits, we locked down on one leg and we did some 3D exploration of the hip by balancing on the leg and creating the pelvic motion around there. So, our demo on the right, so I soften the knees, bottom travels back as if you're sitting down. Now from there, we just used this front leg and we just used it to drive some motion. So from there, I toe tapped it behind. And again, that just gave me a bit of stretch into that hip from there. And then I tapped it into the side. Again, loading the side of that tissue. And then I just brought it round in that little circle. And again, that just loads into that tissue as well. Then we did it on the other side, so again, boom, boom, come back into it. We did that little toe touch back. We did that little toe touch into the side. Then we did the little toe touch going round the corner. And then you walk it all in and feel like you've got a bit of action round on the back. Hope you enjoyed it. Next week we're going to start looking at the front of the hip. Until then, au revoir.